Thanks so much for joining us. We're just waiting for participants to arrive, so we'll get started in just a minute. All right, well, let's get going. Thanks so much for joining us to talk about political science and international affairs. Just a few quick housekeeping items. We'll be recording today's session. Also, this presentation is future focused, starting with fall 2021. So if you are thinking about studying abroad in spring 2021, that's great. But maybe just give us a call or an email and we can talk to you about that specific semester. Today we're going to talk about some of our favorite political science and international affairs programs. The format of the presentation is that we're going to take about 20 minutes to tell you about these programs, and then at the end we'll have questions and answers. So feel free to pop any questions that you have in the box. So my name is Kate Bryant. I am the College Relations Manager for Pennsylvania and New Jersey. When I was in college, I studied abroad in Madrid, and I was an international relations student, international affairs as it was called at my school. And I went to Madrid and it was awesome, but the reason why I went is because that was the program that my school said, hey, go on this program. And I didn't really understand the field of study abroad. I didn't know how many programs there were out there in the world. And even though I had an amazing experience, I look back at it now and I know so much more. And I think, gosh, was that the right program for me? So hopefully some of the information that we share with you today can help you to make a full and complete decision about which program's right for you. So I'm joined by a few of my colleagues, Virginia Gabby, Lori Roth, and Hernando Servia Garcia.
Sorry about that. Let me tell you a little bit about IES Abroad. IES Abroad is a nonprofit organization that started in 1950. We've been doing study abroad for a long time. We offer a ton of different study abroad and internship abroad programs around the world. We offer programs that are based at one of our IES Abroad centers. We have programs where you directly enroll at a partner university, or we have programs that do a combination of both. At IES Abroad, we're proud to be an organization that believes that study abroad is not just for a specific type of student, it's for everyone, no matter how they identify. Here's Hernando from our diversity team to share a bit more.
Great, thanks. As a Senior Diversity Relations Manager, along with Gretchen Cook Anderson, who is the Assistant Vice President for Diversity, Recruiting, and Advising, we both work to inspire more underrepresented students to study and intern abroad. Through our initiative to diversify education abroad, which is essentially the strategy for diversity and inclusion here at IES, we've created a series of resources to help you throughout the study abroad process. These resources, of which you can use during the pre-departure stage, while on site, and finally during the re-entry phase. Whether it's through one-on-one advising, Gretchen or myself are always available, or you participating at one of our workshops at your home institution, virtually for now, we are here to support you every step of the way. These resources include a short, easily digestible pre-departure guide on navigating identity and diversity abroad, social identity landing pages, diversity scholarships, country-specific resources, and hear the student perspective from idea bloggers who are diverse students that blog throughout their time abroad or through our film festival.
Hi, Hi, my name is Lori Roth. I'm also one of the college relations managers here at IES Abroad. I did actually study political science as both an undergraduate and a graduate student. I studied abroad as an undergraduate in the UK, and I actually studied political science abroad as an undergraduate as well. So I do have a lot of opinions, and I'm happy to talk about this as well. What we're going to be talking about today is 6 program options that we believe are excellent for political science and IR students. And we'll go into some detail about why each program is great specifically for students who are thinking about continuing on in political science and IR, whether it's with a career or graduate school. All of the programs that we're going to talk about today are English language programs and do not have a language background. So the first program we're going to talk about is our European Union program. It is based in Freiburg, Germany, which is adorable if you haven't been there before. So Freiburg itself is a medieval, small, walkable city with narrow cobblestone streets, beautiful architecture. And why this program is great, specifically for political science and IR students, is first, you'll get to learn in detail about the specific EU topics, which is good for students who have a regional focus on Europe, or for students who are able to then translate all of that specificity to other topics that are interesting to them. One of my favorite things about the program is that there are actually 3 week-long trips all around Europe as part of the program, with professors, with the other students on your program, and the staff, to really look at the EU concepts that you're learning in the class, in the field. On those trips, they're very serious trips. Everyone has to bring a suit. You actually get to meet different EU officials. And then after you're done with the program, you get to talk about all of these great experiences on your applications for jobs or graduate school, or even during interviews. So really amazing and unique experience.
Next, I'm going to talk about the Economy, Business, and Society program in Shanghai, China. Shanghai is a bustling city and an economic and cultural hub. It's a city with a ton of great food, amazing shopping, incredible museums, and it's a city where you get to see firsthand the impact that different international influences have had on a city. And while I didn't study abroad for political science, I was an Asian studies minor, and I did live in Asia for a couple years, and so I am super excited to talk about this program. Some reasons you might think this is a great program is because if you're going to do a focus on East Asia, or if you are an Asian studies minor, this can be a great program for you because you'll be able to improve your Mandarin. It's also a great jumping off point to other destinations in China and in the rest of Asia. And in fact, this program includes 5 to 7 day trip to another Asian country. And in the past, students have gone to Japan or Taiwan or to South Korea. Another reason you may enjoy this program is because of some of the academic highlights. You'll be able to visit the stock exchange and key economic development offices. You observe classes at a local school, attend a panel discussion on Chinese politics, and you take courses like international politics in East Asia or Chinese economy and politics. There is also the chance to take a course at our partner university, which is Fudan University. Some students have even gotten involved in extracurriculars while they're in Shanghai. Students have joined the running club or the modern dance club, the Shaolong Kung Fu Club, the Air and Health Environmental Protection Association, or the Tai Chi Club.
Awesome. Okay, let's circle back to Europe and talk a bit about Barcelona, one of my all-time favorite cities. Barcelona is super fun, super beautiful. It's on the Mediterranean, so you have access to the beach depending on what semester you go and how warm it is at that moment. There's amazing food, there's tons to do, there are just so many great museums. Barcelona is pretty centrally located in Europe, so if you're interested in traveling around on the weekends, it's pretty easy to get to the airport and to get to other cities. But why would you study international affairs and political science in Barcelona? Well, for one reason, we just have tons and tons and tons of classes that are available to you. Could you go to the next slide, please? Awesome. The way that our program works is that in Barcelona, we have a building where you can take classes. If you've ever been there before, it's near the Plaza Catalunya. And we have tons and tons of great course offerings in Spanish and in English. And then we also have several partner universities where you could go and also take more classes in English or more classes in Spanish. So you don't have to have Spanish to go on this program. But if you do have Spanish, we could build you a full immersion program. If you haven't taken Spanish before, we just have you take Spanish 101 when you're there. Another cool reason to study international affairs and political science in Barcelona is, if you think about it, Spain has had like every form of government. They've been a colonial empire. They've had an authoritarian government. They've had a monarchy, a democracy. So if you are interested in the way governments function, I almost can't think of a better sort of case study for that. One class that we have that actually focuses on that is called Politics in Spain. So we could guide you sort of through all those different governmental systems and sort of what their impacts are. Another reason to study in Barcelona, I think, is if you have any interest in regional politics. So how does the identity of one group of people within a bigger country, how does that affect the national discourse? Barcelona is a super interesting place to be for a conversation like that. You could also do an internship if you wanted to. You could work for an NGO. And of course, the greatest part of it, you'll get to strengthen your Spanish.
All right, now we're heading down to South America for the Emerging Economies Program. The Emerging Economies Program begins in Buenos Aires. This is the political, economic, and cultural hub of Argentina, and a city you'll fall in love with. Next, you do a week-long course-related trip to Peru, where you'll visit the Andean Alliance for Sustainable Development, and of course, Machu Picchu. And then the second half of your program takes you to Santiago, which is a cool city that's historic and yet modern, with a thriving business center, pedestrian malls, and a very clean and efficient subway. I think the coolest thing about the Emerging Economies Program is how these countries become your classroom. You'll be experiencing these two different economies and cultures and seeing how the accelerated pace of globalization and economic growth has had an impact on these two locations. Some reasons why this is a great program is it's a mix of learning about politics and economic issues through in-depth hands-on learning, and you'll improve your Spanish skills. In this program, you live with a host family, and you'll be able to practice your Spanish every day. You'll take 16 to 19 credits for the semester and be able to take some cool courses that are taught in English, like contemporary Argentine history, politics, and culture in the construction of national identity. You'll do site visits. Depending on the courses you take, you may go to local businesses and industry leaders, the Mapuche community in Chile, the Plaza de Mayo to learn about the Madres de Plaza de Mayo movement. And of course, there's time to have some fun outside of class as well. You can take an optional trip to Vina del Mar, which is a beautiful coastal town in Chile. Or while you're in Argentina, you'll pop over to Uruguay. And there's a lot of cultural activities that students do as well. So you may take a cooking class, or maybe you'll learn to tango.
The next program we're going to talk about is our program in Paris called Business and International Affairs. It is an English language based program, so don't worry about that part. some of the reasons that I particularly think this program is a great option for students who are political science and IR students are, first, well, you don't need to know French prior to going on the program. You can work on your French. So whether it's you're learning French 101 for the first time or you've had a considerable amount of French, it's a good skill to have as a poli-sci and IR student to be able to have at least a little bit of French. And then if you have a considerable amount of French, on this program, you're actually able to do a part-time internship for credit in Paris, which is amazing. So there's some great examples of some of the things that students have done in the past with different types of international organizations or businesses. There's quite a range of places that students have interned before. So that is a great option as well. And then there's also a number of amazing IR courses at the IES Center. And interestingly, I can see that on the participants list right now, it looks like we actually have one of our center staff from the Paris Business and International Affairs Center. I'm going to try to unmute him and see if this works. Chris Fagella, are you there?
Hi, can you hear me?
This is so exciting. Hi, Chris. So Chris is actually our academics coordinator from the Paris Business and International Affairs Center. Hi, Chris. I can hear
Hi, guys. Great.
Are you in Paris right now?
Yeah, it is 9:15 at night right now.
Thanks so much for coming to our Zoom around the world. We really are zooming around the world right now. That's really exciting. Well, since we have you on the phone, and just for a second, can you maybe tell us, since you're the academics coordinator, an example of one of your favorite courses that might be interesting for poli-sci or IR students?
Yeah, I think students really like taking advantage of courses that are in the political science or international relations departments, but may not be offered on their campus because we try and do either a city focus or a country focus. So we have a class called France, Middle East, and Islam, which focuses on some of France's ex-colonies and how the Islamic community lives in today's French society and how well or not well it's being integrated and how the history of the ex-colonies has been reconciled in France. Another really popular course, of course, since Brexit has been France and the EU. So it talks about France's role in the creation of the EU, the history of the EU, the birth of the EU institutions, and kind of what that is looking like moving into the beginning of this century. So that's something that students are really excited about because they don't necessarily have those types of courses that are offered on campus. And that's some that are like the most popular right now.
I love it. Thanks, Chris. Well, thank you so much for joining our Zoom Around the World. I would like to sign up for those classes if that is an option. Thank you for joining us. I'm going to mute you again, and we're going to move on to our next program that we're talking about. But thanks so much for popping in.
Sure, no problem.
Oh my gosh, what a surprise. I'm just scanning our participants list, but I don't see anybody from Rabat who I can draft for this section. So why would you study in Rabat? I'll tell you that Rabat is a really calm and just beautiful city. It sits right on the Atlantic. It's perfectly positioned if you are the type of person who likes to watch the sunset at the end of the day. It has a Medina. A Medina is like a walled part of the city that's old. It has really narrow streets and tons of little shops and cafes and fountains. So you can sort of spend your afternoons wandering through the Medina. And it has a really cool cafe culture, which means that people go to cafes and order coffee or tea and sort of sit for a long period of time. So that's sort of something that you could get used to doing, you know, with your friends and with your homework. If you study in Rabat, I mean, I think this program is just like huge on adventure. You are going to travel to the Middle Atlas Mountains and stay with a Berber host family for a weekend. You are going to travel on camelback across the Sahara. You're going to go to Fez, to Tangier, to Chefchaouen, which is the really famous, iconic blue Moroccan city. It's the type of place where you are going to really step out of your comfort zone. It has a really different culture than American culture, so it makes you sort of evaluate your own cultural values. It's a really different language, sort of different dominant religion than what you've experienced in the United States, different sort of gender roles than in the United States. And I think also really importantly for a student who is studying international affairs, studying Arabic, I think makes you super, super marketable when you enter the job field. So when I graduated from college and I was looking for jobs in international affairs and international relations, I remember seeing Arabic as a desired skill constantly. So on this program, what happens is you take 6 credit hours of modern standard Arabic, and you also take 1 credit hour of Moroccan colloquial Arabic. And then you can take the rest of your classes in English, in French, or in Arabic if you have the level. One class that I really love is called the US and North Africa, and it looks at the war on terror, it looks at trade policy, it looks at oil, it looks at tensions in the Middle East. So just a really, really interesting and I think relevant class to today's world.
All right, so you might be wondering how you can find out more information about all these awesome programs that we talked about today. First, we have our IES Abroad ambassadors. These are students who have recently returned from their study abroad and are there to answer any of the questions you have. It's always nice to hear directly from a student about their experience. If you go to our website, you can search the ambassadors by program or home university or type of housing that they stayed in. And at the other end, they're there to answer questions. Second, we have IES Abroad correspondents. These are students who shared their stories and videos and photos on our blog. And again, a great selection of stories, both all the good times and the bad times, honest look at students' experiences. Once you open an application with us, you are going to get an IES Abroad advisor. This is someone who's extremely knowledgeable about all aspects of the program, and they're going to help you with your application and getting ready to go up until you get on that airplane. We also have all the social medias, so follow, like, subscribe, all that. And tomorrow is our Study Abroad Film Festival. We have 3 films contending to be the winner of the film festival. If you go to our website, you can register and attend. It's tomorrow night at 5:30. And the videos, the movies they made are awesome.
All right, so what should you do from here? One step is to talk to your academic advisor, especially if you're a first-year student. Good questions to ask are, what's the best semester for me to study abroad? What classes should I be looking for during my semester abroad? What classes should I maybe not take now? Maybe I should save for study abroad. And maybe if there's any particular study abroad programs that your academic advisor really likes for your major. Talk to your homeschool study abroad office. You can open an IES application. It's super easy. It takes like between 5 and 10 minutes. You can do it on your phone. It's free. And if you have questions, call us, email us, chat with us. We all studied abroad and we want to help to make it happen for you too.
Well, thanks so much for coming. This has been fantastic. We're going to get into some of your questions now. There's actually been a number of questions that have come in, so we will do our best to cover them in the short amount of time that we have left. The first question is actually about the EU program, so I'll just take it, and it's actually super quick. If a student wants to study on the EU program but hasn't taken German before, is that okay? So good question. So the program is based in Germany. The courses are English language courses. Everyone will take a German language course. It's totally fine if you haven't studied German previously. The question also concludes, will I be able to get around okay? I would say yes. I have been to Freiburg before in that part of Germany, and it is very navigable from English language perspective. If you have some German, obviously you'll have more access to different types of things. But yes, totally fine if you have not studied German before previously. The next question that came in is about Shanghai. So we'll ask this one to Virginia. The question is, can you explain more about where we take courses in Shanghai? Is it at a university or is it a center?
That's a really great question. On the Shanghai program, you will take classes at the IES Abroad Center, which is a nice center that has classroom space and computers and things like that. And you have the option to take 1 or 2 classes at Fudan University, which is our partner university. So you could take classes at both, or just at the IES Abroad Center. So you have some options.
Thanks, Virginia. I have another question here about where the students on these programs come from. Is it other schools in the US or is it local students? Kate, can you answer that one?
Yeah, for sure. So, so when you're taking classes at the IES Center with other study abroad students, they're generally students from around the United States. We're a consortium of colleges and universities, and most of the students who study abroad on our programs come from our consortium schools. If while you're studying abroad, you want to take classes at one of our partner universities, then the students who would be taking classes alongside you would be local students.
Thanks, Kate. The next question that came in is, how hard is it to get into these programs? That's a really good question. For all of our programs, you'll actually see the application requirements listed on our website. For a lot of our programs, it's a 2.75 GPA requirement. For some of them, it's a 3.0 GPA requirement. It depends on the program. Some of the summer programs even have a little bit lower GPA requirement. So that's part of it, but really a big part of it as well is having the support of your home school. So we ask your home school to approve you to study abroad, and they might have their own internal processes on campus. So from our perspective, if you apply by the application deadline and if you meet our requirements, I would say there's a good chance of getting into the program. But just make sure to check with your local school as well about that one. The next question that came in is an academics question about Paris. So I'm going to see if Chris is still here and if we can ask him about it. Chris, I have a student asking, wait, maybe I should see if you're still there first.
Yep,
Chris,
I'm here.
Still there? I have a
Yes.
student asking, this is great. I have a student asking, in Paris, can students also take courses at a partner university or all of the classes at the IES Center?
Yeah, we actually have one partner university. It's the Paris School of Business. So we have the option of taking one course at the Paris School of Business, and that's included in program fees. And if you would like to take an additional course, that's also an option. You just have to pay an additional fee for that. And so what we would do is in the beginning of the semester, like we would figure out how that works into your schedule with your IES courses.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
No problem.
Okay, the next question that came in, and I think this is going to be the last one that we have time for, is about housing in Barcelona. Kate, can you talk briefly about housing in Barcelona?
Absolutely. So several options. If you study abroad in Barcelona, you will have the option to live with a host family, a local host family. And if you choose to do that, many of your meals will be provided to you. And I'll just say quickly, when I studied abroad in Madrid, the food was far and away my favorite part of the whole experience. And in fact, I ate so much that the doorwoman of my building told me by the end of the semester that I needed to lay off the food a bit. We also have apartments available where you would live with other study abroad students, and we have residence halls, for sort of lack of a better word. So what will happen is after you're accepted, you'll fill out a housing form. You'll rank your top choices, and we'll do our very best to accommodate you.
Thanks, Kate. Well, that is all the time that we have today. We are happy to talk about any other questions with you after today. You can see our contact information on the screen. It's also available on our website. But thank you so much for joining us, everyone, and we hope you enjoy the rest of your day.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Thanks, Chris.